Okay, now that I'm out of work, I can continue the video that I posted this morning. Let's start with the election fraud that has taken place. You have to bear with me, I'm also driving. Let's start with the election fraud that has taken place. How in the world did Joe Biden win? Well, through fraud. Now let me point out a few things before those of you who are Biden supporters start flipping out. I want you to think about this for a minute. You have boxes full of ballots. We'll say only 10,000 ballots. Do you know how much room those boxes take up? You can't fit 10,000 ballots inside one box. It's going to take several boxes. And the fact is, when you are the head of a group of people who are counting ballots, you're going to know where those boxes are. Now say you got 10,000 ballots, that's it, just 10,000. You're going to know where those mail-in ballots are. You're going to know because they're taking up room. They're taking up more room than what you want. So, with that being said, how can you suddenly find 150,000 ballots as if you didn't know they were there? Really? I'll tell you how that happens. You find out that the candidate you're rooting for isn't winning. So you shut your counting down, you go home, you contact everybody you know that supports your candidate. You give them a bunch of ballots, you have them fill them out, you have them stick them in a box, and you get as many ballots as you can filled out. You get them dated properly, and you bring them to work with you the next day. That's how you do it. That, I'm sure, is what happened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened in Philadelphia. That's what happened in Nevada. That's what happened in Wisconsin. That's what happened in Michigan. That's what happened in Arizona. I'm sure of it. There's only one way to cheat. There's several ways to cheat, but that's one. How do we beat this? Well, we get it in court in front of conservative judges who are using common sense and say something is fishy here. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out something's not right. It doesn't take it. So what you do is you do a recount. You set the parameters. You say, okay, well, this is how it's supposed to be, and this is how it's going to be. And you have to do this with every state because every state has different election laws. And then you sit there and you figure out which ones are fraudulent ballots and which ones are real. Now, that's not going to be easy, especially if the fraudulent ballots are done up in such a manner that's going to make it difficult to detect. But there's got to be a way to do that. And then you do a recount. And if they still cheat, then what you do is you get rid of all mail-in ballots, including the absentees, and you say, everybody that wants to vote again, you have to go to the polls. And when you go to the polls, you have law enforcement there watching the polls, running the polls. And you use a kind of machine that actually can detect the answers and mark it. And then all you got to do is just take the count off the back when it's over with. No computer necessary. I don't know why we can't do something like that now. It's not a difficult task. You don't need no internet. All you need is something that can read the dots and make a count. Trump on one side, Biden on the other. Republican one side, Democrat on the other. You can open it up for, put counters on there for other branches of public groups or political groups like the liberals. It isn't too hard to do. I don't know why they haven't done it, but for some reason they seem to think that this nonsense that we went through all week this week is okay. It's not okay. I'm not okay with it. Everybody I know is not okay with it. Yeah, there's a few out there celebrating Biden's win by the media. But the good news is Biden actually has not won yet, because the Electoral College doesn't meet until December. And the Electoral College is the one that makes the final decision. They're the ones that make the final decision. Now about these masks. This is, as I said before, this is a step towards socialism. This is a step towards the mark of the beast. The masks are only a practice of compliance. I saw and read a report where 86% of the individuals who have been diagnosed with COVID-19, 86% claim to have been wearing their masks. It doesn't work, okay? This is a practice in compliance. The next step will be the vaccine. Now you sit there and say, okay, great, we'll have a vaccine, we'll have to wear the mask. Well, there's a problem with that. Bill Gates invented a chip to go inside this vaccine. All right? The chip is the mark of the beast. What they're going to do is when you walk into a store, you're going to have to walk through a scanner or be scanned by somebody with a hand wand or some kind of nonsense like that. All right? If it doesn't ring up as you having this chip, then they're going to say you don't have the vaccination and therefore you cannot shop there. You go to sell something. If you don't have the chip, you won't be allowed to sell. If you're looking for work, you don't have that chip, you will not be employed. I'm telling you people, you need to get your heads out your butts and start standing up for your rights. We do not need a government telling us when our kids can go to school. We do not need a government telling us when we can practice our religion. We do not need a government telling us when and we can go someplace, where we can go, and what we have to do to be able to achieve whatever goal it is we're trying to achieve. Whether it be a lifelong goal or a goal to get some food for our tables. It doesn't matter. We don't need that. This is America. It's a capitalistic, free republic. It's high time those who remember the America we used to live in to rise up and say enough is enough is enough. I'll tell you right now, you can count me in. I don't know how to lead something like this. I don't. But you can count me in. Somebody wants to lead something, let me know. I'm right there beside you. Alright, listen. I gotta call the wife back. I just ignored her phone call so I could finish this video. So I better call her back before she gets her nose bent out of joint. Just kidding, dear. We'll talk to you later.